Pressure. Deep. Caught. Samuel. Touchdown.
All right, guys, we are here. It is time for some week 3 truths. We saw week 2 come together, and I am going to be the first one to say I was very wrong about a number of my picks. 2 and 4 on the week last week. But honestly, the worst thing that happened last week was my team. My team was a disaster. Nick Chubb going down clearly is a big detriment to my running back room. But I don't want to dwell on my performances. My picks were wrong. Let's get into the recap from week 2 right now. Game of the week, Caleb against the Jabronis. I picked the Jabronis. I was wrong. Hobby ended up getting really nothing out of Zay Jones. Jamal Williams going down. Nice performance out of Ken Walker III. So there are good things coming out of the Jabronis lineup. Kraken and the Bags. Again, I was wrong on this one. Hart ended up playing an incredibly good game. 48-point victory. And he's got to be feeling good, 2-0. Hart's looking like a really strong team. Seattle players have been performing. The Steelers defense looked great against Cleveland in what was a really weird Deshaun Watson game. The biggest downside here is Travis Etienne, who 12 carries, 40 yards, 6 points. Not a great day. Keenan, what do you say here? Christian Kirk had a nice rebound. Fields and Pierce, though. Dameon Pierce, preseason darling, draft darling. So many people excited about what Dameon Pierce is going to do. 5 points. Justin Fields is being absolutely roasted, although DJ Moore did have a performance. I was wrong there. I'm 0-2 on the week. I picked the Capybaras over the Breakers. I don't know that I recorded that. I got called out by my fiance on that one. They got insanely balanced production out of their entire roster. That one was an impressive performance. A dismantling, a 50-point win. And they didn't even get the best performances out of some of their players. So they are definitely a team to be reckoned with. About Jeff, it's a tough one. The Breakers are looking like they might be in some disarray right now. Their running back room took a hit, didn't look great. Josh Kelly, Algier not producing. And then both the Brown and Brown, 29 yards for A.J. Brown. Are you fucking kidding me? And then Amon-Ra gutted it out, but something's up with his toe, his foot. We're not really sure at this point. Yeah, and then Ayuk hurt. It's not a great week for Jeff. On the plus side, you do get Mark Andrews back, and he looks all right. Moving on, Mr. I versus Zaz. This is mind-blowing. Dave had such a good draft. Now he's 0-2. I picked him incorrectly as Zaz, a.k.a. Mr. Auto Draft, a.k.a. I can't make the draft, a.k.a. 20 IDPs. He's now 1-1? Is that even real? A 15-point win. Hopkins might be washed for Dave, and somehow Garrett Wilson, who's fucking incredible, continues to produce with a shitbag of a quarterback. Zaz's running back room combined for 0.9 points, and Hawkinson is a tight end 1. Hawkinson being a tight end 1 blows my mind. It's same with Cousins, who we can get to later, but really weird, and did not see that coming. One I did get right, Florida Man against Studio City. Florida Man eked this one out. The closest game of the week, less than a point separating these two teams, and both teams looked really good. Najee Harris not looking great for Dinsky, but T. Higgins making up for all that and then some. Really nice week for T. More on Joe Burrow later. Meanwhile, Eric, a pretty solid performance across the board. I think the most shocking for me is the Baker Mayfield Mike Evans connection, which I just can't. If you would have told me that preseason, I would have been like, get the fuck out of here. But 171 yards and a touchdown for Mike Evans on 6 grabs and 8 targets. That's nuts. And meanwhile, Ridley came back down to earth with 5 points, 32 yards on 2 grabs. So yeah, interesting, but both teams looking really strong, and Eric and Florida Man and West Adams continuing to justify my high draft grade 2-0. And then, as I said, my game against the champ, I didn't feel good about it going in. Did pick myself because I'm always going to pick myself. But yeah, Drew looks really good. Biggest win of the week. He hasn't lost since I don't know when. And yeah, Burrow's questionable. Chubb is out. David Montgomery is out. My receivers didn't produce. Madison looks like a complete piece of shit. My roster is in complete disarray, and I don't know if I can fix it, but I'm going to try. Drew lost Barkley, lost Hill, and still produced. Got probably the best game I've seen of DeAndre Swift in his career, so congratulations on that one. Let's move into week 3. Let's do it. Okay, fresh week 3. I'm reporting this at 9:15 on Sunday morning, so I'm getting a late start. I've seen the Thursday games. I'll try not to let that factor too much into my predictions here, but it's been a busy week. We're getting our house painted, so it's been a lot going on all around. But here we go. Let's jump into the week. The ungame of the week is going to kick things off, and that's going to be, you guessed it, myself, along with Javi. Javi is my pick in this game. I think my team is a unmitigated dumpster fire, and I don't think we've got a lot of firepower right now, and Burrow might not play. So whether that's an upgrade or not, I'm not really sure. I don't have a backfield, and I think the Jabronis team is looking like a team that could still rip off a lot of points. Number one, they have a quarterback. His name is Patrick Mahomes. That's a lot better than what I'm trotting out there. KW3, and Jacobs is due for a rebound. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I think it's an easy W for Javi. Next up, Florida Man against Zaz. Now, I think this is a pretty straight ahead thing too. I think Florida Man's going to romp. Evans should continue to eat, apparently, with Baker Mayfield the absolute star of a quarterback that he is. Zaz is going to need a lot of help from role players. I don't know where he gets that. Breece Hall, as much as I love him, has looked pretty pedestrian. You're starting Deuce Vaughn, Jalen Hyatt with a goose egg. I just don't know where this is coming from for Zaz. So I'm going with Florida Man here in week 3. Next up, Bay State, Seattle. 1-1 Bay State, 2-0 Seattle. This game kicked off Thursday night with a 12-point performance out of Moody and 4 points out of Warner for Jeff on the Bay State side. Hart has his full complement ahead. Nakua and Metcalf both carrying questionable designations for Hart, but at this point, I think I'm going to go Hart. Amon-Ra's a little banged up. Kelly and Algier in the backfield. I don't know if that is the winning backfield for a team. I love the New Orleans defense, and they might do some interesting things against Jordan Love, but I'm picking Hart to go to 3-0. I think Puka will come through, and I think Geno should be really nice. And if the wide receivers show up for Jeff, we could see an upset here, and then he could go to 2-1, but as it stands, I'm picking Hart to go to 3-0. Big prediction there. So, let's see. What do we got next? We've got Mr. I next against Dinsky. Still completely shocking to see Mr. I at 0-2. Don't understand how that's even possible. He had an amazing draft. Eckler being out in this game and continuing to be out obviously hurts a lot. Studio City looks strong from top to bottom. I love the start of Josh Reynolds, especially with Amon-Ra being banged up. I think Goff has looked really fucking good, and this really does feel like a Mr. I must win to keep trucking ahead. Great quarterback matchup, Tua versus Jalen. I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Dinsky. I don't know. That feels weird to say over this. I just don't know if Mr. I seems like they're putting it together. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Dinsky in this one. I don't know. It's just a gut take. Okay. Next game, Porter, Caleb against the reigning champ and currently undefeated Yankees. They look strong top to bottom. I would say their weak link is RB2, wide receiver 3 and 4, but outside of that, they are man, looking really strong. Porter and Caleb shifted Lamar to the bench and put in Cousins, who's QB1 in the fantasy season. That activates their Cousins Jefferson stack. So I am going with Porter and Caleb in an upset to move on from this game victorious. We'll see what happens. Also, I'm not upset at all that I lost to Drew in an embarrassing fashion last week, and that has nothing to do with why I'm picking Porter and Caleb at all. Game of the week. Game of the week. We've got the Bags and the Capybaras. This one has had a start on Thursday with Purdy and McCaffrey going for the Capybaras along with Kittle, and all three had great games. This game has a lot of this matchup has a lot of history, playoff matchups that have happened in the past where one team has knocked the other out, and the Bags honestly have had the Capybaras number quite a few times over the years, but I'm thinking that they put the hurt on the Bags this week, pushing Dean into 0-3. Capybaras go to 2-1. Justin Fields, I just don't think is it right now, and Kirk feels really volatile. Jalen Warren is due for a lot of work this week. We'll see what he gets. I don't know if that's going to be Warren versus Kyren Williams, who's been unbelievable this year. Top 3 fantasy running back. Who saw that coming? So I'm picking the Capybaras here to move to 2-1. Best of luck. Hope everyone has a great fucking Sunday. Enjoy it, guys. Talk to you soon.